Think about the last group project you worked on. Chances are someone took charge, someone stayed quiet, and somebody probably distracted the group. Even without assigning roles, everybody plays one. College students constantly work in groups for class projects, study groups, clubs, sports teams, and in workplaces. Understanding group roles helps students avoid conflict, improve communication, and work more efficiently with others. Understanding group roles is one of the most important things college students can learn about small group communication because roles directly affect listening, participation, conflict, and overall group success. According to the textbook, group rules are a set of behaviors each person performs in a group. These rules are not assigned and naturally appear through interactions within the group. Group rules fall into three categories: task roles, relational, and ego-centered roles. Task roles focus more on completing the group's goals. Relational roles focus on maintaining positive relationships. And ego-centered roles focus on individual needs often affecting the group. In my own words, group roles are how people naturally act when working with other people. Some people help move the group towards the goal, while others keep the group positive and involved. Then some of them unintentionally cause problems to arise in the group by focusing too much on themselves. Group roles are closely connected to leadership, conflict, and decision making. For example, strong task and relational roles can help prevent conflict all while keeping the group organized, but ego-centered roles can create or increase the tension between group members. Leadership often appears from task roles, and relational roles help groups work together through disagreements and make decisions better.
So according to the textbook, there are a few different task roles when you're presented with a group project. The initiator is someone who creates new ideas and new ways of thinking. Someone who is an information seeker requests clarification on instruction and the information that's presented to them. In retrospect, someone who's an information giver provides the correct informative response to the person asking the question. Someone who's an elaborator or known as a coordinator gives examples and further develops other people's ideas. The energizer is someone who motivates the group to continue working, stay on task, and take action. Lastly, someone who is a recorder writes down group discussion and makes records of all decisions made by the group. So in group projects, there are going to be conflicts. There are three main types of conflicts: affective, ideational, and procedural. Affective conflict is more oftentimes than not personal. It is where someone has a strong emotional involvement to another person of the group, and it is also the hardest type of conflict to solve. Next is ideational conflict, which is not at all personal. This is a conflict that deals with group decisions and disagreeing on things such as layout or even due dates. This can become effective, though, if it's not handled effectively. Lastly, procedural conflict is a difference of opinions when faced with decisions, which can be prevented with communication and setting common goals. So every group has a forming phase, which is kind of where you're just getting to know each other. So in the forming phase of any project, members may feel many different emotions. Some may be excited or even a little nervous as they try to fit in and help with the overall performance of their group. This is where creating group contracts and helping setting goals will avoid this conflict and make the group process run smoothly. All in all, task roles influence decision-making processes because when everyone has their own role and follows it accordingly, it can lead to less conflict and increase the forming phase, leading to group projects running more smoothly and more effectively, making the work easy for all members.
So for main point 3, I will be talking about the explanations and examples of relational roles. Relational roles also affect the quality of group communication to a group extent, as they are involved in building positive relations among members of the entire group. So as far as the different examples in group members, we have the encourager, which encourages member by praising them. An encourager can raise the level of the discussion or group work by members feeling that they are important and can make important contributions to the discussion or group work by sharing their ideas, because encouragement has a positive impact on member satisfaction. And information sharing, which was a resource that I pulled from the Beebe Masterson, which was communicating in small groups. We also have a harmonizer, which is another important relational function, and their role is to make a disagreement less tense. A harmonizer in relation to a disagreement in a team on dividing work would, for example, acknowledge the points on both sides and emphasize shared objectives between the two. Communication along these lines keeps a group focused and ensures that a disagreement does not become a personal issue, and hence results in higher productivity and cohesiveness, as explained in the book entitled Joining Together by Johnson & Johnson. So, as far as the gatekeeper role, it also makes a direct contribution to group communication in relation to participation. Communication and group setup, whereby a few individuals may end up dominating discussions, can be enhanced by having a gatekeeper who tries to give an opportunity to every member to contribute to discussions. The study on group decision making argues that participation and communication facilitates effective decision making in groups. And then, as far as these roles and things go, we have the relational roles, the harmonizer, as mentioned before, the gatekeeper, and also the encourager, which are very much associated with a number of concepts involving small group communication. These concepts involve conflict styles, leadership styles, and decision making styles. As already stated, relationship roles involve creating harmony in a group. These relationship roles are also very often associated with conflict handling styles in a group setting. For example, if individuals in a group feel that their relationship role is that of a harmonizer or an encourager, there are likely to be a number of individuals in that group who are inclined to handle conflicts in a collaborative or compromise style. There are unlikely to be a number of individuals inclined to a competitive or expressive style that could disrupt relationships in the group or hinder progress in the group. Roles, whether relational or task, can impact group leadership styles as well. When leaders place importance on either of the roles, there is a possibility of using a democratic style of relationship or even leadership among the group. On the other hand, if leaders understand the importance of roles such as the gatekeeper role, then the quality of decision making increases since involvement of everyone leads to quality group commitment, whereas groups without roles involvement tend to result in authoritarian leadership styles, taking decisions quickly but not taking into consideration everyone's feedback among the group. Finally and lastly, the relational roles promote a positive communication atmosphere, and as such, it is in respect and in conclusion that group members feel more receptive to share, to test their ideas. Problems such as groupthink and poor critical thinking are also thereby minimized. Generally speaking, relational roles reinforce the links between communication, leadership management of conflicts, and group decisions as a whole.
Dysfunctional roles and examples of what that may look like. So, the explanation pretty much would be dysfunctional roles are self centered behaviors that negatively impact the group, like whether it's just a big group, small group, any type of work environment that you're a part of. So, there's two, three, four. There's about six or so different roles that people can be. So, you got the dominator, who pretty much controls conversion. That just this is a controller, just make sure everything's attacked. Social loafer, they avoid responsibility, whether you have something to do, like a responsibility to do. So that's typically what it's being used for. Typically, they just avoid assignments that they're handed to, basically. Then you got the blocker, who resists ideas, who, someone throws an idea out in the group and it's not working, they resist it. They're just like, nah, it's not working, we're not doing that. They just pretty much like just turn it down, you feel me? And it's not good. And then you got the aggressor, who creates hostility, who like makes the workplace not good to be around. It could be anything from like, I'd say, just that's not doing anything good. That's not helping the situation at all. It makes it just way more harder to be a part of. If that makes sense. And then you get the recognition Caesar, who wants attention or praise. If they do something good or in the project, or if they do something like in the project and they just want attention, they want people to think about them as that, and it just isn't. It doesn't help anything. And then you got the self-confessor, who uses that group time to talk about their own feelings and thoughts and gets emotional, and pretty much just changes the whole mood that doesn't need to be changed. It's just unrelevant things to speak on that makes absolutely no sense. That's typically what they explain. Um, and then we got the Joker and the Clown. That's pretty much self-explanatory, but pretty much they basically just distract the group. Throw jokes around. You feel me? behaviors humorously. They just often just off topic. They make the whole group just not focusing. Basically, I wouldn't say it's their job to do so, but they make it a pretty big idea. They just want to just have fun, play humor, and there's a time and place where you can do that. So, so also the information I have is according to Phelps, Mitchell, and Byington, 2006, dysfunctional group members often called bad apples, like the bad apple from it, like the term, just bad apples. Disrupt communication, lower performance, and reduce group satisfaction when left unchecked, basically. Connection to other group concepts, dysfunctional group roles, increase conflict, more bickering, more fighting, more arguing. They weaken leadership and trust as well. I mean, they like to question the person who's leading the group, or how trustworthy you are to you know, take an account if that person's gonna get that job done, and that's basically what it's for. It could be from anything from, I'd say, just trust. I mean, like I said, trust. Trust is a big thing. Like, you don't want to work with someone you don't trust, and if you know someone's gonna be the way they are, whether it's gonna affect the group emotionally or just physically in any type of way, like, you don't want to be a part of that. And it's definitely gonna take a toll on the group and how successful and efficient the group is. And these roles are a great example of how, you know, what not to be a part of and what to look for in case, like, in the future, anybody who has groups and working in the work environment have to deal with people like this. Um, and to see how these roles play out real life, next will be a short activity demonstrated or interactive that will be shown.
Today, I would like to interact in activity. To start, I will lead a short Kahoot to show how group roles appear in real life. So the Kahoot link will be right here. Just go to kahoot.it and then type in the game code, right? Everyone will answer questions about how they usually act in the group. Each answer connects to specific roles. A answers represent leader or coordinator, right? Which is the person who organizes, guides, and takes charge. B answers represents the supporter or relational role, which is someone who encourages others, listens, and helps build teamwork. C answers represent task focused workers, which is the person who stays focused and gets work done. While D answers represent distractors or dysfunctional role, which is someone who may be less engaged or easily distracted in the group. After Kahoot, I will ask a few questions just like how do you feel and things of that nature. And the most questions you answer, whether it's A, B, C, or D, which will help you determine what type of role you take in a group. Today, we explained how group roles naturally form in small groups and why they matter. Jaden defined group roles and showed how they connect to leadership, conflict, and decision making. Bella explained task roles and how they help groups stay organized and reduce conflict, while Ethan discussed relation roles and how they help build trust and positive communication. While Gabe covered dysfunctional roles and showed how they can damage a group if they aren't addressed at the right times and things of that nature. Understanding roles is important for college students because group work is a constant part of college life. When students recognize tasks, relations, and dysfunctional roles, they can communicate better and reduce conflict and work more efficiently together. To close, the next time you work in a group project, remember this: roles are happening regardless if y'all assign them or not. So when you recognize the roles and adjust to them, your group becomes stronger and it increases the way you can succeed.